Hey guys, Tylord here with a midweek video game and movie pickup video. I wasn't sure I would be able to get one done this coming Saturday, so I thought I'd do one now. I've actually picked up a few things and have some stuff to talk about. Some movies and video game related things coming at you. And then I have a package from my buddy El Tiburon, aka the Retro Tiburon from the Retro Wave podcast. Who has a YouTube channel now. Go check him out. I'll put a link in the description. Retro Tiburon, all about retro nostalgia, anywhere from VHS tapes to wrestling, to video games, television shows, all that fun stuff. Anyway, I got a package from him, a lot of VHS trash. Keep looking over here. I have my phone flipped around. I usually have the camera on that side. Now I have it on that side. Anyway, yeah, a couple of other pickups. First, I want to start off with the video games. I use some more credit at the Utopia games I'm parked in front of right now. I started off with about 220 in credit, and then I bought an N64 controller, and I bought my daughter a video game, and then I got a game for my buddy Dean up in Idaho from Escapes to Gaming, and then on that credit's burning a hole in my pocket. I want to go back and get some. I found some stuff I wanted today, and I think I spent about $60 of the credit today, so I have about $90 left. But these are a couple of games I wanted. First one, they're both PlayStation 2 games. First one, Phantasy Star Universe. Really fun game. I played on Xbox 360 last year and I beat it when I was off on medical leave. Fun action RPG space game set in the Phantasy Star universe. I never played much of the Phantasy Star Online, but I did play through Phantasy Star 2 on Sega Genesis, and I enjoyed that. This one's more of a action, like real-time action. How do you say it? Action RPG. It's pretty fun, but I didn't play it on the PlayStation 2. I kind of want to play this and see what the differences are, if there are any at all. I don't think there are any differences. But this came out a generation before the 360 one. And then the other game I got, I was really excited to pick up, and I kind of would have preferred to have gotten this on the original Xbox, because that's usually what I collect for, but I couldn't pass this up. It was a little bit cheaper than I can get it on eBay. And I figured it's kind of more convenient for me to play PS2 games now, because I have that backward compatible PS3 hooked up to that nice Trinitron that Dean gave me. It was probably more convenient to play it on PS2, and that game is Final Fight Streetwise. I've been talking about getting this one for a while because I'm obsessed with the Final Fight series, especially over the last couple of years. I've beaten all of them. Final Fight 1, 2, and 3 I beat on Super Nintendo. Final Fight 1 was super tough to beat on Super Nintendo. The other two are actually a lot better on Super Nintendo, 2 and 3. And then I beat Final Fight CD finally on Sega Genesis, or Sega CD, which is probably my favorite Final Fight. Then I beat Mighty Final Fight on Nintendo with an emulator, because I think that game's super expensive. And so I'm kind of looking out for that Final Fight 1 on GBA, but I haven't seen it anywhere. And I'm super interested in Final Fight Revenge on Sega Saturn, but the fighting game, but I don't have a Sega Saturn. I was thinking it would be nice to have a compilation of all of the Final Fights. Capcom should get on that, like Konami and Nickelodeon did with the Ninja Turtle games, the retro Ninja Turtle games. It would be cool if Capcom put out like a Final Fight collection that had every version of Final Fight 1, and then all of the Super Nintendo games and the Game Boy games and Mighty Final Fight, and maybe put the Saturn game on there, and even this one. It'd be cool to have a compilation of all the Final Fights on the modern consoles. Maybe you could finally play Final Fight 2 and 3 on co-op online, which would be cool. Anyway, here's Final Fight Streetwise, which I guess is a sequel to Final Fight set in the same universe, the Final Fight / Street Fighter universe. It's about Kyle, who is Cody's brother. So Kyle and Cody Travers are two close-knit brothers surviving the tough streets of Metro City. When Cody disappears amidst the mayhem of a drug trade, Kyle must take back the streets with his own hands to save him. So I guess you're trying to rescue Cody. And it says fight alongside fan favorites like Cody, Hagar, and Guy, which is cool. Take your moves to the extreme with instinct moves and counter time. So it might be new game mechanics I'm not sure of. Pulse pounding hip hop alternative metal soundtrack featuring over 40 artists. Wow, that's a lot of tracks for a game, including Razah, Slipknot, Lil Flip, Nappy Roots, Soulfly, and others. Gain money, tension, and respect to become the ultimate badass. Fierce single and 2-player story and co-op modes. Very cool. Bonus minigame, unlock the original Final Fight. Very cool. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to playing that. I still have to play the Bouncer, the Square, is it Squaresoft or Square Enix, I think. Anyway, so that's it for the video games. I was super happy to get this Final Fight Streetwise. And speaking of video games, I've been forgotten to mention this nice magazine I picked up. It's going to be a quarterly released magazine from Super Mega Graphics 64, Cyrus Martin on YouTube. He actually printed this and had it published. A Super Mega Graphics 64 retro gaming magazine. It's a nice little magazine. I remember back in the day there was no internet and all that, and it was fun to get all the latest video gaming news from the newsstand or local grocery store or wherever. When I was a little kid, my mom would go shopping, and I would just stay there at the magazines for an hour or whatever, just thumbing through the video game and the pro wrestling magazines. And this is this first magazine, #1 issue here, is dedicated to the fourth generation, the 16-bit generation of video game consoles. Has a nice little write-up of all of the major 16-bit consoles, including Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx 16, and it has a nice each section shows all the specs of every console, so it's cool to have that handy. I'm not gonna go over it in detail. If you want to, over on Cyrus's channel, I'll leave a link. I'm sure he has a link to where you can go purchase this, of course, but he has a little summary of it. But it has it has all kinds of old school video game ads, kind of like EGM. I remember back in the day, every other page in EGM was an ad, which was cool. This one has a little write-up on every console, and it shows a little catalog of all of the launch games for every console, and it shows the specs of every console. So delighted to have this. I'm surely gonna buy every one of these each quarter this year. I think the next one, I'll give you a hint, it has to do with Sega, the next issue. Yeah, so we got that, which is fantastic. Delighted to have that. And then on to the, speaking of paperbacks and books, I finished another James Bond book since I talked to you last. Another one that I just could not put down. And then I kind of continued it during my cardio sessions at the gym by audio, listening to it on audio. And that book is kind of with a boring cover here. Diamonds Are Forever by Ian Fleming. I guess this would be the 4th James Bond novel. So now I've read the first 4 James Bond novels and Goldfinger, which was not in order, but that was the first one I ever read. So I've read 5 of them now. And then I read the Moonraker novelization of the film by Christopher Wood, which he kind of tries to write like In Fleming, but is this kind of based on the movie, like a novelization of the movie. Anyway, Diamonds Are Forever here. Man, now this is my new favorite Bond book. They were getting better each consecutive Bond book I like more and more. I didn't think I would like any better than Casino Royale, but they just seem to be tickling my fancy more and more every time. And this is, if you've seen the movie, this is a little bit more similar to the movie than the Moonraker novel was. I'm a big fan of Diamonds Are Forever, the movie. I can't believe it took me that long to read this, because Diamonds Are Forever is one of my favorite Bond movies. I know it gets a lot of crap from the Bond fans and everyone in general, but one of my favorites. I just love the campiness of it and kind of the nonchalance style about it, and kind of the fussy villain and the assassins. Speaking of the characters, a lot of the characters made it from the novel onto the movie. Blofeld from Spectre is not the villain in this. I don't think Blofeld has come along yet in the novels yet, but it's not really large scale. The stakes are lower in this one. It's not like a megalomaniac villain for mass destruction type scenario. It's similar plot to the movie, and it has a lot of the same characters. It's about the diamond smuggling pipeline. It starts in one end in Africa, diamond mines, and the British are trying to get to the bottom of this diamond smuggling. All their diamonds are getting smuggled out of this area in Africa through a dentist, just like in the movie. And it ends up in the United States. That they think that's why Bond's on the case to infiltrate this pipeline. Going in as Peter Franks, just like in the movie. Although he pretty much just goes by Bond the whole movie, not Peter Franks as he did in the movie. Most of the movie he went by Peter Franks on the movie. He's taking the role of this undercover as this hood diamond smuggler, Peter Franks, throughout the whole movie. But it just goes by Bond. Maybe it's easier to read it that way. I don't know. Anyway, a lot of the same characters though. Tiffany Case, the main Bond girl, is in it. She's a really cool Bond girl. I really enjoyed her character in this. I know she's not one of the favorite movie Bond girls, but I love her in the movies. I love her little spunky attitude, and really beautiful. Played by Jill St. John. A little bit different. I think she's blonde she was a redhead in the movie. She's a blonde in the book, but she had kind of a dark past. Lives among the crime world. She works for a casino. She's a blackjack dealer, and she's part of this diamond smuggling operation. Kind of acquires a liking to Bond. She had a bad childhood, bad encounter with men before, so she doesn't really like men. Of course, Bond's the one to win her over. Other characters show up. Shady Tree, the gangsters in there. My favorite henchmen, Kid and Wint, the two gay henchmen from the movie, they're in this. They might even be creepier in the book than they are in the movie. The big Queen Elizabeth steam liner is in this. I think that was the same one in the movie, and a lot of the final part of this book is on the ship, and he encounters Kid and Wint on this. I don't want to give it all away. It's a cool story. Nothing about diamonds making a giant laser up in space like on Diamonds Are Forever the movie, but kind of a cool plot. He's trying to find these two brothers control each end of the pipeline. They're called the Spang brothers, and one of them, there's a really cool scene in the I guess would you call it a scene or in a book. There's a really cool part in the book where the one brother, the main, there's two main bad guys. One of them runs of the Spang brothers. One of them, he's like a big cowboy guy. And outside of Vegas, he has this old ghost town, like a cowboy town, and it's all like functioning, like with a saloon and everything, and it looks like an old cowboy town. He has like a big, like wood burning um, steam train, like a big fancy old steam train. I forget the name of they called the train. And they and Bond has like a bar fight in there with some thugs, and he gets captured, and there's a cool escape scene, and there's a lot of cool action sequences in this book. Felix Leiter, his buddy, is in it. He's in a lot of Bond movies. He comes back from Live and Let Die after he got chomped on by a shark. So Felix Leiter is in here, and now he's a private detective. He's no longer with the CIA, although I think he works with them still. He has a prosthetic arm, like with a hook on it, and he has a fake leg, but he still gets around good. And he has like a Studebaker with a Cadillac motor. He can go like 130. He's a cool character. I have like a cool Texan in this book, Bond CIA buddy. Yeah, but I super enjoyed this. Especially maybe the last half of the book. That's how most of these are. Kind of a slow burn at the beginning, but the last half just like flies by, like you can't put it down. Okay, on to the movies. Some Dollar Tree, $1.25 Bush trash here. Okay, I didn't even know there was a Tales from the Hood 3. It looks like Tony Todd's in it. Sci-fi original. Oh, brother. Well, Tony Todd's in there. So I'll have to keep an eye out for Tales from the Hood 2. And then probably my favorite, Crocodile Dundee 2. I like the first one, of course. It was kind of more of like a romantic comedy. This one's like kind of like an action movie. So I've always liked this one. Crocodile Dundee 2. I actually saw this at the show when I was a kid. I don't remember if I had it. My buddy Michael from Emerald Game Cave sent me the Australian version of the double pack with both of these movies. And then here's a movie I watched this week that I wanted to talk about. My buddy PWM, Physical Media Mac. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. If you haven't checked him out already, one of my favorite movie discussion channels, collector pickup movie channels. My buddy Jeff sent me Cyborg and Slinger Blu-ray. Freaking fantastic. Director's cut. Slinger is Albert Pyun's cut of Cyborg, and this has the Cyborg we all know and love is on one disc, and then Albert Pyun's director's cut is on the other disc. Slinger, so you got Cyborg and Slinger, and then it comes with all these fantastic postcards. There's Van Damme and his little friend. What was her name? Like Nodi or something. And there he is fighting in the swamp. There was a cool scene. There he is fighting Fender at the end. There's Fender's gang. There's Fender again with his gun. And there's Van Damme swinging on the pipe. Here he is. Oh, that's at the beginning of the movie when he takes out one of Fender's thugs. And there's the DVD cover right there. So it has some cool postcards in there. I just send them to people. Put little love letters on the back. And anyway, and the inside case has the classic cover I like. This is the best cover right there. Yeah, so I finally watched Albert Pyun's cut of it. And that's the one that I guess the screening of that went badly, and like one person out of 100 liked it and everyone else hated it. It's very bad video quality. But from what I watched of it, like I didn't see much difference between that and the original version. Not gonna knock the original release, the theatrical release, the regular release we know of Cyborg. Not gonna knock that one. Just I noticed the music is different. It's more rock music, and it's a lot darker. It kind of plays more on Fender's like a Satan worshiper, and and those cannibals they run in are like aligned with Fender, and they like kill this little kid with a basketball. It's really dark. Can't really think of many other differences. They edited a little bit different on the disc. It like cuts between like good quality video and like crappy worn out footage. I don't know if that's like an artistic statement or it's just like the only footage they found the director wanted that was they could use, so it looked kind of crappy, but it would cut from like good quality video to like crappy looking video. So I don't know if that's an artistic statement. This is all in Spanish, all of the menus and everything, so I can't find if there's like a director's commentary, which would be nice. But anyway, cool to have that. I might actually even rewatch the regular Cyborg on that. And what else do we got here? Okay, now we'll get on to the box that Retro Tiburon sent me. El Tiburon himself. Okay, so we'll start with the VHS trash. I'm getting dandruffy beard there. Okay, will she be the next prime target? Looks like a thriller cop movie. In this nail-biting thriller, Police Commissioner Peter Armitage, David Soul, assigns his ex-lover, Detective Kelly McClonney, Angie Dickinson. Isn't Angie Dickinson? She's like an old, like old school actress, like from like, is she like in John Wayne movies or like in the 50s? I thought this was like an 80s movie. To investigate horrific and violent deaths of two police women. A vital link between the murders leads Kelly to suspect her own police force. Accusations start to fly. Policemen question. Kelly knows she's closing in when she's kidnapped and threatened. A third policewoman is brutally murdered, which steers her partner and colleagues to confess to harassment, but not murder. Oh. So there's shady stuff going on. Kelly must find the killer before she becomes the prime target. I don't know if I'm ever going to watch that or this one, another cop movie with Burt Reynolds, Physical Evidence. I'm not going to read this one. He always sends me these Burt Reynolds movies. This is from 88. I like Burt Reynolds, but I'm not interested in watching everything. Okay, here's what's this? Tease. Oh, Rosanna Arquette and Jurgen Prochnow. I can't ever pronounce his name. Jurgen Prochnow. He's some kind of like that German actor. There he is. And then Rosanna Arquette. This is a story of sexual frenzy and rage, thriller thing. I don't know about. I'm just gonna just get a bunch of random stuff and send it to him. Okay, here's 3 episodes of the Andy Griffith Show, The Misadventures of Opie. There he is, Richie Cunningham, or what's his name? I forget his name. Howard. He's a big director now. Ron Howard. Andy Griffith Show. It's been a long time since I've seen the Andy Griffith Show. Cute little small town show. That'd be the 50 or 63. Wow. With Andy Griffith. What was his name? That actor that plays Andy Griffith. Oh, it was Andy Griffith. Yeah, but he was called Andy Taylor on the show. Oh, and then here's a good one. I'm glad to have this one on VHS. I don't think I had it on DVD or anything. I Come in Peace. I think it's also called like Death Angel. It has another title. He's battling this alien, and the alien is Matthias Hughes. This is a cool actor. I love this guy. So cool. Dolph Lundgren movie here. And then I didn't know this thing was on. I'm getting old. Like, I didn't realize this movie was on VHS. I saw this at the theater. It felt like it wasn't that long ago, but it's been out a long time. Resident Evil Apocalypse. Resident Evil 2 with a really cool Nemesis on there. I thought Nemesis translated to screen very well. The monster. Resident Evil 3 isn't really my favorite Resident Evil game, to tell the truth. But I like this game because it had a lot of references to the games. And I think Jill Valentine was in here, and Carlos were in there from Resident Evil 3, and a couple of the other characters. This is when they started adding the characters from the video game into the series, and the look of it looks very accurate to the game. Paul Anderson, yeah, Paul W.S. Anderson directs. I think he's married to her. And then he sent me this. I heard him talk about this on his video, The Food of the Gods Part 2. I remember he said he didn't like it that much except for that one silly scene where the little kid gets really big. If you don't know the story of these, I don't know about this one, but the first one was this lady found this stuff seeping up from the earth, and she fed it to her. She used it to grow her corn, and she got all kinds of corn. Like, the corn got really big, and the chickens ate it, and the chickens got really big, like a 200-pound chicken. And then like the rats got into it and ate it, and they turned into these giant man-eating rats. This is a sequel, so I think it's something along the same line. I just know there was that one scene where the mom brings a doctor to look at her son because her son is growing gigantic, and the doctor comes in to see, and the little kid's like a giant, and he's in there. Get the F out of here! Get the F out of here, you dick! And he got tickled by that scene. Looks like there's all kinds of gore in here, but I've never seen this one. I like the first one a lot. And then he got me some. He sent me a book. Oh, the Disney Rocketeer book, Golden Look book. Very cool. I like this movie. I'll try to read it to my girls if they're interested. I like this movie a lot. The Rocketeer. I didn't know there was a little kid's book of it. I even had some James Bond books. Like for kids. Okay, here's, and he sent me Rudy Ray Moore in Human Tornado, which is Dolomite 2. And I already have this, and I got another copy, and I sent it to Fred from Bad Company. So I'll probably send this to PWM. I don't think he has it. I love this series with Rudy Ray Moore. This like blaxploitation action. It gets pretty raunchy. Like, it's almost like a porn at some parts. I was watching this somewhere and I had to like stop it. Like, how vulgar this gets, but it's pretty funny. I noticed even Ernie Hudson's in here. My favorite Ghostbuster. Is this the one? Yeah, it's the second one. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of kung fu and fighting and naughty things going on. And then And then he sent me some Marvel movies, and I think we already have this one. This is probably my favorite Marvel series of from the movies, The Guardians. This is volume 2. Is this the volume 2? Yeah, this is the one with Kurt Russell, right? I like these, and Batista's in there, and all these silly characters. I like these. And then Doctor Strange. I don't know if we had that or not. My wife collects all of these. I don't think we had that one, so thanks for sending that. I still haven't even seen the second one of these, and I haven't seen the new Spider-Man and all that crap. Yeah, so that's about it for the pickups. Kind of lost momentum there at the end. Sorry about that, but I'll try to stream some more Resident Evil this weekend, if not sooner. I didn't. I did 2 runs of that so far. I was gonna do my last final run yesterday, but my game crashed and I lost the internet and all that. I never had that happen before. I played for 5 hours last weekend, and then yesterday I played it for like an hour, and then I lost all my progress and everything, so I have to start over. I was at the beginning of the island. I was almost at the end too, so I'll try to get back to the Resident Evil. And that's about it. So I'll see you guys later.